I had a message Sunday that had 2 or 3 lines in it or thoughts that could have been received a little off. And one of them, actually two of them, but I'm going to talk about one of them today. One of them was my presentation that God created us as slaves. And that caught a few people's ear and it bothered them. So I'll probably, I'm definitely going to double down on that on Sunday morning and talk about that, because it's clear that at least some people were listening and paying attention. Now, there are many pastors who probably don't want you to question their thoughts. I'm not one of them. I actually love it. I would prefer having a dialogue with you than I would presenting a monologue to myself. At least I know somebody's listening, and somebody's trying to learn, and somebody's trying to grow in faith. And so I revel in having that dialogue. It allows me this Sunday to respond to some of the things I know people were thinking. So I'll do that on Sunday. Right now, I want to, we're going to be here at Wesley going through a pastoral change, and I want to share something with you. You have a responsibility to your own soul to follow what's true, and to know when something's being presented to you if it sounds a little off. That's really on you, and that requires a personal discipline on your part and a willingness to learn and to study and to be open. John says in 1 John chapter 4, verse 1, you might want to go there, that we have a responsibility when we're sitting under a leader to test the spirit to see whether or not it's from God. And I think that's true. I know that it's true. I did this. I still do this. I did this all my life. I mean, when I was in seminary, when I was in college, and now when I listen to podcasts or I listen to people explain things, I'm like, is that true? And so I start digging in. And then I go for a walk and I think about it and I meditate on it. Is that true? And one of the foundational things that I've learned is that to understand if something is true when someone's teaching you, you have to have a very core understanding of the scriptures, which comes from personal discipline and study. You just have to do it, or you're not going to know what's true. You're simply going to know what's popular or how your gut responds. And you're going to base your decision on your gut, which is, we know, exceedingly dangerous. So I would say that as your pastor right now, those of you who are at my church, it's your responsibility to test the things that I'm teaching. Check it out. See if it's true. Sunday we're going to talk about, was I really created to be a slave? And what does that mean? And why does that bother me when Pastor Ernie says that? That bothers me. And it bothered several people. And we'll get into that on Sunday. But there is one other thing that I want to share with you. There are two different ways and reasons and motivations that people have to test something. One is they really want to learn. They really want to know what's true. They really want to grow in faith. And that means that they have to be open to the possibility that they're going to have to change their mind about something. If they're not open to the possibility that they're going to have to change their mind about something, there's a good chance they're probably not open to the truth. And Jesus tells us to test, and then he warns us about testing. He does both of those things. And the reason is because our motivation in testing can sometimes be a false motivation. For example, the Pharisees come to Jesus to test him. Are they open to the possibility that they're going to change their mind because of a truth that he's teaching? Or do they come to test him just because they've already decided they don't believe him and they want to condemn him? I've had both experiences in my life. I've had people who test me who really want to learn. I've had times in my life where I've changed my mind. And somebody says something to me and I went, oh, I didn't think about it that way. And I'm open to that. But I've also had times when people have challenged what I've said and not been open to a conversation or dialogue. They just want to condemn me. And there's not much I can do about that. So Jesus warns us about testing, but also tells us we have a responsibility to examine ourselves and examine our teachers to determine whether or not they're true. And as we go through this series between now and June of I Can Do Better, maybe it would be good for you and for me to say, you know what? When I hear something and I come to a conclusion that it's true, it would be really good for me to do a better job testing that and seeing if it's accurate. Does it measure up? The bottom line for me is, does it measure up to what the scriptures actually teach? Or is it somebody's idea? And simply that. So I challenge you to do a little bit better in testing the things that I teach so that we can have a dialogue these last few months together and get to the root of the matter and the truth. The same would be true with a new pastor. Have a dialogue. Talk about things and base the vision of the church upon the truth that is found in the scriptures. I hope you all have a great day, and we can do better.